Brandi Maples, and I'm a studio coordinator at Visionaries and Voices, where I work with Curtis Davis and also with Robert McFate, who are the collaborators of this piece, which is 1 Corinthians 1:27. So I spent a lot of time with this piece and watched Curtis work on it, and then saw Robert come in and do his parts. So I spent a little time thinking about it and wanted to share that with you today. I've been watching this collaboration between Robert McFate and Curtis Davis come together since the first day Robert brought the log and this old mailbox to the studio for Curtis to paint. If you know Curtis, you know that nothing stays unpainted for long once he gets a hold of it. Within no time, he had the first heavy coat of house paint covering the natural bark of the wood, and then the mailbox, and then the two became one. For several months, I watched Curtis painting, layering a single color, coat after coat, like the rings of a tree, slowly growing, but not so you'd notice. I'm not sure anyone knows how many colors are buried beneath the top coat, and that's the beauty of it. This piece is as much the process as it is what you see here today. I often thought of it as performance art or action painting. The creation is part of the piece. I love going back to Curtis's space at B&B and to look closely at the dripping paint, wondering if it was still wet or if it had dried, drips hardened into stalactite-type growths. Curtis applies his paint generously and in so many layers that it transforms the actual objects into something new and tactile, something that begs to be touched, the bark and hard metal rubberized. I think what I like best about this collaboration is how both Robert and Curtis are both part of and detached from the piece. Beckoning back to the found art and assemblages of almost a century ago, this work brings together discarded or unlikely components, objects from our everyday world not considered aesthetic on their own, and has us consider them in a new context. It's not so much Curtis's or Robert's vision, but a celebration of the materials and the art of creating together. The work was never so precious that it couldn't be reworked or spills incorporated, and there was at least one incident of paint flooding the base. Curtis paints because he loves to paint. In fact, he values the final product very little, oftentimes painting over completed works. He's fast, makes quick decisions, is always engrossed in his work in the moment. Here in the gallery, we have time to think about it or be drawn in to feel it with our hands. We might first think of paint, consider how the wood has been made plastic, or see the mailbox as a symbol of communication, the artist as a messenger, or as a recipient of messages from the world around him. The fragments found on Highway 127, discarded, seen as of no use to some, but speak to those who pay attention. For me, the most exciting part of this piece was witnessing Curtis's enthusiasm as he lapped paint on and getting to watch the coming together of everyday people to make art. Beauty isn't always contained in the walls of a museum or a frame, but is in the raw vitality of the world around us and the act of creating itself. Thank you for letting me share my thoughts.